Hello everybody, welcome into Ghost Racing Network here for the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. We are getting ready to go green at Texas for the Everything's Bigger 225. Kicking off the round of 8 here at one of the more interesting tracks in NASCAR. Be more specific, one of the more interesting mile-and-a-half. So let's get right down into the race info. Looking at Texas, just under a mile and a half at about a 1.46 mile. Track temp today is going to be 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Weather outside 72, 10% humidity, clear skies, and 2-mile-per-hour wind. Everything's Bigger 225. We are here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Going to be 150 laps tonight. 70% fuel, 5 tire sets, 1 fast pair of fixed setups. Stage 1 is going to be on lap 28. Stage 2 lap 85, and then we will try to make it the rest of the way from there under green. We do have 3 green-white checkers as well if we need them. Getting into your starting grid. Tonight's pole sitter, last week's winner, Paul Witt. To his outside is going to be Matthew Dyer. William McKellar starts third with Justin Parham for Grandstand Racing in fourth. Row 3 is going to be Kenneth Riedinger and Joey Hickox. Row 4, Russ Kilgore and Rodney Roberts. Richard Hurst starts in 9th, and it's going to be Matthew Fritz rounding out the top 10. Sam Boutwell in 11th. Got himself a playoff position in interesting fashion here tonight. We'll tell you about that as the race gets started. Randy Bonomi in 12th. Tristan Fortson in 13th. Justin Bentley in 14th. Robert Jordan in 15th. Vicente Guerrero 16th. DJ Madison 17th. Jay Stinson in 18th. And rounding out the field tonight is going to be Robert E. Morrison in the 43 truck. All right, well, we set up some logos for everybody to help you identify who's in the playoffs. And it's pretty simple. Any of those drivers that you see with a P in parentheses next to their name, they are in the playoffs. Of course, tonight is the first of 2 races in the round of 8 that we're getting ready to go green for. But it's not a win in your end. We actually learned that last week, ironically enough. Still a points battle, and that's why you really got to go for those stage points, and you got to make sure that you keep the truck clean. And overall, just try to get the best finish possible, even if it's not a win. Paul Witt, though, getting ready to see the green flag. He has been fast the last 3 weeks. The momentum continues to build here with the pole. And as we roll up to the Geico restart zone, the green flag underway for the Everything's Bigger 225. We are racing at Texas. That's a pretty good jump from Paul Witt. I look to see that inside line be dominant at least early. Actually, at least late. I take that back. We'll see if the outside can get anything going here early. But Texas is another very heavy tire-saving track. Night race, though, tonight always makes things that much more exciting as we dive down into turn 3 for the first time. Paul Witt's going to come out of it in the best position of everybody. The 75 of William McKellar is looking to the inside of Matthew Dyer. William McKellar, not a playoff driver, but he is still looking to take the lead from Paul Witt, who is going to lead lap 1. Further back, everybody's still trying to get things sorted out a little bit. You're going to see a lot more passes, I think, in 1 and 2 than you will in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is almost a setup corner. Set yourself up down the front stretch for turns 1 and 2. Looks like Matthew Fritz, the 48, is trying to get by Tristan Fortson in the 17. There's the 66 of Randy Bonomi and Robert Jordan just behind. How about the 16? A little bit further back, Justin Bentley. We haven't seen him out here in a couple weeks. I think last time we saw him may have been the All-Star race. There's Vicente Guerrero. Always likes to play a little strategy. And DJ Madish, last truck in the field. Probably the smallest field that we've seen tonight in a while. And you kind of expect this to happen. As you know, we're starting to get to a close of the season. We're only going to have 2 races left after this to finish out the season. Of course, we head to Las Vegas before we head to Chicagoland for the final race, the championship race. And that's kind of why you're seeing these numbers diminish. Guys that aren't in the playoffs, you know, it takes practice to be competitive in these races. And sometimes you feel like maybe cut the season short, give yourself a little break, and get ready for next season, which we will be getting excited for. Joey Hickox, Matthew Dyer, they're still going at it. You see they actually stayed pretty even through 1 and 2. Both of these guys could have pushed the issue, especially Joey. The thing here about Texas is when you dive into 1 and 2, you can really push the guy to the outside up the track if you so do it, but that's where things get a little risky. And if you're the guy on the top, if you try it, you can also pinch the guy on the bottom down. Sometimes that works out pretty good as well. Look at the speed differences, though. Down into 1 and 2, these guys upper 170s, not quite 180. And 1 and 2 is a lot slower here at Texas than 3 and 4. These guys will be out of the throttle quite a bit. You get over here to 3 and 4, that's not the case. These guys pretty much stay just about wide open, depending on if you're in clean air or not and how old the tires are. That allows them to carry a lot of speed. Big draft down the front stretch. We're almost going to go 3 wide. Russ Kilgore under fire there after he slipped up just a little bit. Looked like Richard Hurst thought about taking advantage, thinks twice of it. He's going to go ahead and drop back in that beautiful looking 76 paint scheme. Of course, he is the broadcaster for the NOMA Super Speedway Series, and I know we give him a shout out every week, but that's because this guy continues to be one of the best. So we'll give him another one. Make sure you go check out Richard Hurst, Southern Broadcast Gaming Network. So we do have a couple people in the chat tonight, including Raymond Daniels Sr., Southern Broadcast Gaming Network, who is, of course, in the race. Nancy Hickox. Looks like Bryce is in here as well. Had a birthday yesterday. Wishing Bryce a happy birthday. Darren Nettles. Everybody's in here getting ready to go. We're only 7 laps in. 150 is a long way to go here at Texas. But it's a night race. The night races always seem to be a little bit more aggressive, a lot faster. And so far, the racing's been pretty good. Your top 3 have stuck pretty close together. Kenneth Riedinger is starting it up. Oh, William McKellar has a big slide. Can he save it? He does. Oh, my goodness. Big save out of the 75. He somehow, some way holds on. Everybody else is going to sneak by as he loses probably a handful of more positions. Let's back this up to out of turn 4. We caught the back end of it. Man, oh man, this is the only thing you really got to fear here at Texas. Out of 3 and 4 wide open. I'm not sure if he was getting a little help from Riedinger or not. I don't think Kenneth was actually to him yet. It's hard to say, but man, he was laying down his own tire tracks. He was so sideways. Also, might be a pit penalty if he got into it. I'm not sure, but that was a heck of a save. Let's take a couple different views of this here if we can. Or actually, one more view, rather. I just want to take a ride on board here with William McKellar, who, man, almost brought out our first caution. That's how close it was, but he doesn't. He holds on. Let's go to the cockpit view. That's hard to say. It kind of came around on him slowly, but you hear he tried to stay in the throttle. Eventually, of course, he did have to finally fully bail out of it. And as we go back live, looks like he has recovered. I'm not sure if he gets the penalty or not. We will know in a couple of laps, but already might have our candidate for the save of the night, and it is going to come in the form of William McKellar. Paul Witt still holding a very substantial lead. Well, not substantial, but dominant lead in the sense of he's led every lap so far. But Kenneth Riedinger, boy, we're talking about this guy every week, so nothing new here, and he is closing in on the back of Paul Witt. These two have been some of the most entertaining guys to watch. And in third place, Justin Parham, Kenneth Riedinger's teammate, and he's looking to get in on this battle as well. Also to note, in the driver info tonight, you will see here round of 8. We had the round of 16, 2 races in it. Got that deal closed out last week. Tonight's the first round of the round of 8. Next week at Vegas will be the second. And then after that, we will see your final 4 top standing in points. So we got some special stuff that we're going to try to set up for those guys before it. Getting ready for that. Tire saving. We keep talking about it. You got to wonder how much has Paul Witt done so far, and Kenneth Riedinger on the other side, how much has he done so far? As he's been kind of pushing the issue, trying to catch up to Paul Witt. But Texas really is one of those tracks where if you save those tires, the difference towards the end of a run is absolutely insane. And also, if we get a late caution and you have a tire set left and you take it, the amount of ground you can make up, you could probably go from the back of the field to the front, as we don't have the biggest field in the world tonight. Matthew Dyer, really good on any of the tracks 2 miles and over. Did pretty good at Atlanta last week. Was looking for a little more speed at the end. Couldn't quite find it. Having a pretty good run, though, right now in 5th. Bad news is he's down 3 spots from where he started. And Richard Hurst, on the other side of that, he's up 3 spots from where he started. Currently sitting in 7th position, battling with the 45 there of Rodney Roberts. But back up front, we are already halfway through stage 1. Kenneth Riedinger gets to the back bumper of Paul Witt. I'm not sure if with their little block, I thought for sure there'd be some contact there. They keep it off of each other, though. Paul Witt knows how important it is here to defend the inside. It looks like Kenneth is looking to maybe try to get that big arc, try to get a run for the backstretch here. We'll see if he gets it. Off 2, though, he gets stuck in a little bit of dirty air, and he's not going to have it. Big draft down the backstretch. He's going to stay tucked in line through 3 and 4. Watch for him to set up that move and make it. You really close up on the back bumper of the truck in front of you down the front stretch. And 3 and 4, I know we talked about passing zone, but it's more or less, if you think about it, 1 and 2 is kind of the only time that you really have to worry about letting off, setting yourself up, the technical side of the track. Everything else is wide open enough to where you just kind of hold the wheel relatively steady. But we have seen turns 3 and 4 being a little bit of a challenge so far tonight. William McKellar almost lost it in, as it looks like we had a battle further back here. Sure enough, the 75 William McKellar and Matthew Fritz as well, both looking to the inside there of Richard Hurst. 75, washes up the track. The 76 is also going to wash up because of that. Very narrow exit here at Texas, but off at turn 4, they all keep it together as they stay side by side down the front. Matthew Fritz, as a playoff driver, probably wasn't too big of a fan of what he saw right there. Backs it up a little bit, and he is running that very low entry. Let's go back up front where the battle for the lead has not simmered down at all. Paul Witt continues to lead the 24 and the 19. The 19, I think, is maybe saving just a little bit more than these guys. Interesting lines, though. You saw the 19 came off of turn 4 a little bit earlier there. Maybe he's trying to save a little bit extra than these two. 429 of Paul Witt has kind of went into a defensive mode. Still looking to see if Kenneth's going to try to take the outside. I think he's continuing to try to dive it in and arc it back, but he's just not quite able to make anything work yet. Down here in 3 and 4. Listen to the throttle input here from Paul Witt. Really starting to scrub the tires, but he's mostly full throttle. If at most, I would say backs off 20%, maybe there a couple times. Now the 24 does get to the outside, but he just cannot seem to get it to work. Paul Witt continuing to run the bottom, but you know he keeps scuffing up those tires more and more. These guys aren't going to have to worry about any lap traffic here, at least until the stage break, a couple stages down the road. Taking a look at your track map, your two back runners right now in the sense, Robert E. Morrison and DJ Madish. They are working their way down the back stretches. Your leaders are on the front stretch. But it's a 3-truck lead, 3-truck battle, if you will. These guys are all your leaders. Joey Hickox, Matthew Dyer, maybe they saved a little bit of tire, and they're looking to get in on this battle when we come here to about 6 laps to go next time. And if Kenneth falls off, ooh, Joey Hickox further back. He's going to tap the wall a little bit. Dives extra low. Matthew Dyer can't get around the outside. That is some outside damage to the 31 of Joey Hickox. This is not what he wants to have happen here early. Everybody has a fast pair, but Texas or any of the mile house we go to, they're very aero dependent. Any damage can hurt you. I think he's going to be okay. I think that's repair worthy. But man, an outside wall comes up in a hurry. In fact, let's ride on the roll bar here. Listen to these tires scrub. This is on board with your leader, Paul Witt. We'll compare this to Kenneth Redinger in just a moment. Does a pretty good job that time. Closes the gap even more. He's looking for a move down into turn 3. Paul Witt's not going to be able to hold off this one. He has to go high. The 24, Kenneth Redinger, is under the 429. He's not going to get clear. There might be a little contact. Oh, and they're wrecking. All 3. Big hit for Justin Parman to the outside wall. No caution yet. Now the yellow flag flies. Problems early here for all the leaders. Oh, they're still wrecking. Justin Parham, they're still getting in this. Oh, the 75. William McKellar had that wicked save earlier. Not going to be able to save it this time. Man, pretty hard hit there for the 19 of Justin Parham as well. It looks like he might have smoke coming out the back. He does. That is going to be a fast pair. All right, let's take a look at what happens here. This is just 2 guys going at it. Racing deal here. Nothing I could say can really get mad at anybody about. Just a lot of aggression here earlier. It's not going to work out. Watch the 24. Kenneth Redinger, he's going to try to slide up here. The truck's maybe just getting a little loose, a little tight at the same time. Either way, he slides up. Paul Witt's still there. There's some contact. That sends the 24 bouncing into the outside wall. The 429 as well. Kenneth trying to save it, coming back down the track. Gets into Justin Parham pretty hard. And it looks like after that, Kenneth actually does a pretty good job of saving it. On the other side of that, Justin Parham just runs out of room. Slams that outside wall pretty hard. Looks like Paul Witt, Matthew Dyer, and Redinger are all going to sneak by without any further incident. But then Justin Parham, after the caution is flew. These guys all just couldn't quite save it. Man, William McKellar definitely got the worst end of that as well. He flew in there with absolutely nowhere to go. But hey, again, 2 guys just going at it hard. I have no problem with that one. They all have a fast pair, but unfortunately now they're just going to have to race a little bit more cautious for the rest of the race. Take a couple more looks at it. Justin Parham was the innocent victim too in that one. He was sitting behind these guys, just kind of watching, trying to feel it out. At the end of the day, he ended up getting caught up in it. Let's ride on cockpit view now. Justin Parham. Ooh, and I'll tell you what, Kenneth actually looked like he got a little loose. I'm not sure if maybe he just tapped the apron or what. See there, Justin Parham just not enough room to save it. And there's the big shot that he gets in the back. It finishes off that 19 truck. I couldn't tell how bad the damage was on Redinger or Paul Witt. I had to assume it was pretty bad though, and it looks like they both did go down the pit. So that's going to give the lead to Matthew Dyer, who you saw sneaking around the inside as the wreck was kind of occurring. Joey Hickok's second right now, Matthew Fritz third, Rodney Roberts fourth, and Richard Hurst having a great run, still up 4 spots from where he started, running in the top 5. Sam Boutwell, another playoff driver, in 6th. Treston Fortson 7th, Russ Kilgore 8th, Randy Bonomi 9th, and Robert Jordan rounding out the top 10. Take a look at some of the things that we normally save for later in the race. Take a look early here. Ignore the rest of the schedule and look after that second off week there. That's where we're at right now, the round of 8 at Texas Motor Speedway. Kind of interesting. Every race from here on out is a night race. I didn't actually realize that till just now, but we do head to Las Vegas next week. And how about this? How ironic is this? Next week I actually will be in Las Vegas. So I will not be here to broadcast the Las Vegas race. And then we head to the championship race, Chicagoland, on June 3rd. I will be here for that one, 160 laps. That's going to be a long one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And it is going to be fast. Getting ready for that. Speaking of getting ready, looks like we are going to get the 1 to go signal. So we are getting ready to go back green. I don't think we're going to pull anybody up in the booth just yet. A little early for that. 25 laps in. So we're going to complete the stage technically this lap. I'm not sure if they score the stage winner on when that caution flew with the way this is going to be, or if it's going to go to Matthew Dyer, since he should be leading as they drag race to the stage here. We'll have to find out. It's been a good season so far for the NOMA Truck Series, though. The only races that we really saw these guys, I would say maybe not have too much clean racing in a sense, was Bristol, which was the first short track they tried. They said they would not go back to it. It just was not a good experience. And Talladega Super Speedway, but I think Talladega and any of the super speedways for that matter are going to get better as these seasons go on. These guys continue to learn. It's hard when you only go to a couple super speedway series a season. Everybody knows that that's the wild card. That's a chance for anybody to get a win, and sometimes people get a little crazy. Either way, Pace Truck's going to pull off here out of 4. Matthew Dyer, believe he's just got to beat him to the line, and he should be, if not already, your official stage 1 winner, unless of course they did score it based off on the caution flew. Green flag is back in the air, and Matthew Dyer with a plenty good jump, so he should get stage 1, but we stay green. So we just got the restart further back. Everybody's going to try to shuffle it out here down into turn 1. Joey Hickox dives it in. He's going to get clear. The 48 of Matthew Fritz takes that position. Up top, the 45 of Rodney Roberts. He's looking for more too. Russ Kilgore back here side by side with the 17 of Treston Fortson. Watch for Paul Witt. You saw him back in the 429. Him, Kenneth Redinger. And there's the 13 of Jay Stinson. I haven't really seen much from Jay so far here tonight, but here he is back. Running towards the back, rather, but he's going to try to mix with it. Oh, we got one across the grass here. Can they save it? Oh, they do. That was Rodney Roberts' second incredible save of the night. I thought for sure he was going straight into that inside safer barrier, if not the pit wall. Goes for a little bit of wild ride in the grass, but he's going to hold on to it. Here we go. Ooh, he just clips the grass. Sometimes it's hard to see him get behind another driver, and he just clips the grass. Does a great job, though, of not holding the brake too long, because remember, that truck is not going to turn when he's locked on the brakes. He realizes that he's going to be able to save it if he can just turn. Lets out of the brake, rolls the truck, and is able to save it. If he did get a penalty for that, I'm not sure if they clear the black. I kind of assume so, but either way, good save for the 49. And just as we see that yellow flag's out, it's going to be, further back. Looks like off turn 2. We got a little bit of a mix-up here. Ooh, another playoff driver involved. That's going to be Joey Hickox. Rodney Roberts, I don't think he's got damage. Paul Witt, I couldn't tell if he was in it, but Randy Bonomi certainly was. And it looks like he may have the most damage out of this incident. Second caution here on lap 29. And it looks like Paul Witt may have gotten involved. Man, playoff drivers with some troubles here early. Ooh, yikes. This is going to collect quite a few. Maybe a couple separate incidents, to be honest. But here we go. I apologize for that. We're going to go back to full screen here real quick. Show everybody what it looks like. And watch up front, the 17 of Treston Fortson, who looks like just getting maybe a little out of the groove there on the bottom. Joey Hickox was above him. He gets into Joey as Joey's trying to save it here. Actually gets up, and Joey's trying to hold on to it still, and then Paul Witt just not able to check up in time, slams into the back of Randy Bonomi. That sends Bonomi up the track. Robert Jordan with nowhere to go, and now the 66 is going to take that big abrupt hit into the outside safer barrier. Jay Stinson, another playoff driver. Nothing he can do as well. He gets into the outside wall. Joey Hickox with some more right side damage. Looks like DJ Madish was able to sneak by on the other end of that. But man, all of a sudden, we talked about all these guys had a fast spur. They may certainly not anymore, and Joey almost held on to that, but didn't, and then just more insult to injury there. Wow, the 43 of Robert E. Morrison just barely snuck through a door that was just cracked open. There was not much room there at all. It's a big hit for Randy Bonomi, and I want to take a ride on board here with Robert E. Morrison, because it's definitely on the wild side, more wild side of wrecks that we've seen avoided, at least from the cockpit view. Here we go. And you see he's looking for the gap, oh man, just sneaks by. Misses all of them. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. It looks like it does work out in this case. For Robert E. Morrison, who is currently up in front of the field here, we'll see if he's going to pit late. He's got some damage on the right front and right side of that 43 truck. Definitely be surprised to see him stay out. Behind him, though, Vicente Guerrero on the 14 truck. Looks like he's cleaned up. We'll see if he's going to stay out here or bring it down pit road. Kenneth Ridinger currently sits in second. Matthew Dyer back in fourth. Matthew Fritz rounding out the top five. Stage 1 was pretty short. Stage 2 is quite a bit longer. Caution not set, scheduled to fly again, at least for a stage break, until lap 85. So these guys still got a pretty long way to go here. Racing started out clean, just a mistake that time there. It looked like another mistake from Paul Witt, who was, you know, he was trying to get back up there in a hurry. That a little bit of impatience may have set in, but you know, the whole thing, I guess, feel of biting the bullet here for Paul Witt is going to be not, you know, he may not have been able to help it, obviously, but getting back from that initial wreck wasn't his fault. But when you lose track position, sometimes you end up in secondary wrecks like that you really could have avoided if you would have still been up front. And I think he had to use his fast spare on that first wreck, so he doesn't have one anymore. And got some damage to the back end and a little bit to the right, just behind that right front wheel and to the hood. So that 429 truck, I just don't know if I see it having the speed for the rest of the night. It's going to be tough. Looks like Jay Stinson is off track. Randy Bonomi also off track. So is William McKellar. And yeah, I'm not sure. I thought Jay would have had a fast spur as well, but yeah, he's currently off track. There's Randy Bonomi sitting in the pits. Looks like Robert Jordan's making his way out. Vicente Guerrero did indeed go down to pit, and I think we're going to get the one to go signal this time. Robert E. Morrison still staying out on track. Nancy Hickok says, I hate to see this happen. The playoff drivers regroup and get back out there. Raymond Daniels Sr. says, show the 13. Well, can go back to him here. We just checked. He's still not currently out on track. So that would be the first playoff driver that it looks like, as of now, we would say is going to retire for the night. Paul Witt is currently running last. Well, second to last of all the playoff drivers. Last playoff driver currently on the track. Joey Hickox back just outside the top 10, and that's going to be Sam Boutwell in 6th, Justin Parham 5th, Matthew Fritz 4th, Matthew Dyer 3rd, Kenneth Ridinger in 2nd. Those are your remaining playoff drivers. And now I think, seeing the struggles that Paul Witt's had, if you're Kenneth Ridinger, I think your biggest competition is your teammates, Justin Parham and Matthew Dyer. But of course, we can't forget about Matthew Fritz. He looks pretty fast tonight, but either way, just how fast the 24 looked early. Looked like probably even with the best truck on the track, him and Paul Witt were really, really close in speed. And if he can figure out the long run, I think his biggest goal here should be taking your time, making sure you keep that truck clean. So I think he very well could get himself a win and try to further secure his spot into the championship race. Of course, the only way you can get clinched is on points. It's not a win and you're in. But a win would certainly, you got to feel like, all but clinch your spot to the Final Four, assuming you have a decent week next week and that you show up. The 43 of Robert E. Morrison, he did stay out. Looks like he is going to be your current leader. Shows the top line. Man, heavy damage on the right front. I think If he doesn't drop back, these guys are going to look to work around him 3 wide as quick as they can. Watch for Matthew Fritz to maybe make a move to the outside. We're trying to save it to the backstretch, jump to the inside, but he's going to have a couple Grandstand Racing teammates looking to try to hold him off from making any moves. And how about Sam Boutwell? Good story for this guy. Very fast, didn't quite make the round of 8, but Robert Duvenek, who was supposed to be, couldn't make a race, gave up his spot, and Sam Boutwell, who continued to put in the effort, was sitting just outside that top 8 in 9th, and got into the transfer because of that, made it into the 8th position. Matthew Fritz was looking to dive down, he's not going to do it, but Robert E. Morrison's going to jump right out of the way, just kind of as we expected. Really gets wide down here in turns 1 and 2. Matthew Fritz is going to get clear. Sam Boutwell going to get a little bit of battle here from Richard Hurst, who takes that spot away. Justin Parham is looking to get clear of Matthew Fritz, the 76. Looks like he got shot out of a cannon on that restart. He might have some new tires, I'm not sure. But he's going to take the position from the 48 as well as he gets back up to the top. Matthew Fritz going to settle in. But up front, Kenneth Rittinger is going to take the lead. Matthew Dyer sitting in second, Justin Parham third. Comes that tire-saving battle here. Who's going to do the most? If you're Kenneth Rittinger, do you try to build a lead and then save some, or do you just save some now? And if a teammate gets side by side, you let him go. Richard Hurst still showing a lot of speed. The 19 of Justin Parham is really on the back bumper of Matthew Dyer. But remember, he's another one of those drivers that no longer has a fast sprint. It looks like Matthew Dyer is going to give him the lane, see how hard he battles him here down into turn 1. And it looks like he's just kind of going to concede that spot to his teammate. Wise move here early. Still got over 100 laps here. No point in racing somebody too hard right now. Further back, everybody is just now about single file. Russ Kilgore, Sam Boutwell, they're still going at it. Boutwell maybe struggling a little bit right here. He is starting to fade back, and track temp, you got to expect to continue to cool. We know that means these speeds are going to pick up. Actually, it stayed about the same, still at 76 degrees, wind at 2 miles an hour, so that's not a factor. 47 continuing to fall positions. Joey Hickox, another playoff driver, he used his fast repair. And that truck looks clean though, and it looks fast again as he is trying to give Justin Bentley a little push here down the back straightaway before he will look to go back to the front. Justin Parham has now gotten past Matthew Dyer. We saw the pass happen a lap or 2 ago, and now he's looking to set up his teammate Kenneth Rittinger. And you know, if you're Parham and you already used your fast repair, maybe he doesn't want to take the risk of being anywhere but the lead where he's got clean air and he doesn't have to worry about anybody in front of him at least. But Grandstand Racing, how about it? Got the top 3 spots all locked up right now. They're going to look to see if they can keep these. Richard Hurst in the 76. This would be his best run since I've seen him out here running the Truck Series, at least. If he can continue it tonight, and right now he looks like he's got enough speed to maybe go up there and battle for a lead. Russ Kilgore is on the move up 2 from where he started, but this restart has gained more than that. And here's 2 of the playoff drivers. Matthew Fritz, Sam Boutwell make it 3. Joey Hickox, he's going to get involved. Rodney Roberts, Justin Bentley behind. Looks like Roberts thought about a little bit of a block, couldn't quite make it happen. Once you get to the end of the long run here in Texas, though, we haven't seen it yet. I'm not sure how much we'll see of it here in this second stage, but man, the tires, they get absolutely shot. I'd say a long run here at Texas in general. I mean, 40 laps is pretty long, but I don't think these guys quite go that long with the fuel they have. It might be close, but I'm thinking more along the lines of mid-30s maybe low 30s. It's hard to say. And so there should still be a pit stop here in the second stage, is I guess what I'm trying to get at here. And the tires are going to be pretty worn out. I think everybody will take a set here, and I think that's going to leave everybody with probably 2 or 3 sets left. I would think if you played your strategy right, you should still have 3 left. Unless you tried to change it up to get some track position and maybe took an extra set compared to everybody else on one of these cautions. But how about how tight the field is right now? Your top 7 are all within a second of the leader. Almost looks like we're at a plate track, kind of like New Atlanta. Everybody is sticking right in the draft of each other. That will fade out as the laps continue to go on. Tires wear out. It becomes a lot more throttle control and less of a draft and full throttle in 3 and 4. The 76 of Richard Hurst. Boy, this would be a powerful move. He is looking to the outside of Justin Parham. He's not quite going to get it just yet. This 19 is going to get a little racy for it. Matthew Dyer's looking to help out his teammate as he dives to the bottom. The 76, though, is going to try to work the top here. A little bit harder to do in 3 and 4, but he's going to dive it down to the right side door. Justin Parham can't make it work, and if you're Richard Hurst, you got to show a little patience here. Boy, it gets tempting. He's got a lot of speed in that truck right now, but you do not want to burn up those tires right here. You're going to need them. Russ Kilgore's looking to get past the 2 truck as well, and we are not seeing the non-playoff driver guys just kind of fold over, if you will, as we saw in the last round. They continue to go at it. Kenneth Rittinger's going to try to give his teammate the draft over the 76, and Richard Hurst has got to be kind of full of himself in an upset way right now. He's thinking, man, cut me a break here. The 19's not going to help him out, though. He wants to keep that position. Joey Hickox, Matthew Fritz, those are 2 of the Hickox Racing drivers. They're battling it out right now. That is for the 6th position. Joey Hickox prevails. He's going to take it. Ronnie Roberts, Sam Boutwell. Looks like Boutwell's going to tuck back in line, and they are still side by side up front. Looks like Justin Bentley further out back almost scraped the wall. He's able to stay off of it, though. Kenneth Rittinger is loving everything he sees in his mirror. This is just making him have to race less. Let's ride on board here with Richard Hurst. And it looks like he is now finally going to drop back in line behind Justin Parham. I think that's a smart move, but now Matthew Dyer is also going to put him under attack. Russ Kilgore still sneaking by there. You saw Joey Hickox get a little loose. You're supposed to run as low as you can in 3 and 4, but if you run a little too low, you clip that apron. That's where you can get into some trouble. We saw it earlier with the 24. Saw it again right there with Joey Hickox. He was lucky, though. He didn't have any truck to his outside. He's just fine, and Matthew Dyer is going to go around now the inside for Richard Hurst, and now you got to wonder, did he maybe use those tires up a little too much? Is he going to start fading right here? Joey Hickox looking to the inside of Russ Kilgore. Oh, almost some contact there, man. Joey got really, really tight on entry. Texas there's a little bump out of 3 and 4. It's not too egregious here in iRacing. In fact, I wouldn't say it's too bad at all. You really have to watch it, though, when you're getting a little loose out of 1 and 2 in that late going. It does not take much. You get a little offset to the left. You try to get it back to the right, and if these tires get worn out enough, the truck will go around right or left. Doesn't matter which way you're turning the wheel. Joey Hickox takes a really, really aggressive entry right there behind Richard Hurst. Looks like he is going to get it to stick, though. He had a little bit of clean air on the left side of the nose. And Richard Hurst looking like he is going to lose that position out of Joey Hickox, who sends it down into turn 1. The battle for 4th. Can he get him out of turn 2? Looks like Richard Hurst is trying to stay side by side with him, but he can't. Tucks back in line behind the draft to Joey Hickox. Can't quite complete the crossover. Your top 5 right now is going to be Kenneth Rittinger, Justin Parham, Matthew Dyer, Joey Hickox, and Richard Hurst. 47 laps in. And so we see that first, I think it's hard to say on when we're going to see this first pit stop here. When we hit lap 50, we are still going to have 36 laps to go in stage 2, excuse me. Of course, we do expect guys to still make a pit stop, but I think maybe the fuel window, to be safe, maybe opens sometime around lap 55 or 60. But if you're Justin Parham, Matthew Dyer, and you're thinking about trying something different, maybe try to find a way to get ahead of your teammate, maybe you short pit it. Try to get a little bit of extra laps on those fresh tires. And if you're Kenneth Rittinger and you're feeling pretty good out in the lead, maybe you try to wait a couple laps more so that you have the tires again in the long run. But tell you what, we're about 20 to 30 laps through this second run here, and the top 4 have all stayed pretty close. Joey Hickox, of course, a new addition, so maybe I should say the top 3. And Richard Hurst, the thing that I was afraid might come back to bite him here, it's looking like he did indeed maybe use up those Goodyear tires a little bit too much. Russ Kilgore has found his way around, and now Rodney Roberts, Matthew Fritz are going to be looking to put him a couple more positions back here. Justin Parham looking a little bit of a higher line here. His teammate does get under him. Initially, I thought 19 was just looking to get some clean air on his nose, but I think maybe he's just getting a little tight. Kind of interesting the way it works. These things do not want to turn in the corner, but they get really, really loose on exit. And Matthew Dyer now up to second. Joey Hickox thought about trying to make a move there. Nothing there. And we might have saw one of these guys just clip the grass ever so slightly right there as well. That's been happening to a couple guys tonight. You really got to be careful of that. We already saw Rodney Roberts go for almost a spin, a pretty wild ride through the grass. He saved it. Oh, further back, Richard Hurst. Big contact in the outside wall. That's going to give the 76 pretty good right side damage. He is going to lose that spot to Rodney Roberts and Matthew Fritz. The 76 is in some trouble here. He really needs to try to get back in a groove before it's too late. But man, look at the right front hood. That's a lot of damage. That is certainly going to hurt the handling until we can get a caution for him to try to fix it. Sam Boutwell's going to go on the inside now. He is in the third line. Yeah, he is really, really struggling here. We know he's got short run speed, but man, maybe got just too aggressive. You know, it's, I hate to say it, but yeah, I always kind of noted here at tracks like these, and whenever I'm racing at them, I can kind of tell the guys that are pretty fast to Matthew Dyer. As you saw there, he clipped the grass coming through the tribal. He had to get out of the throttle. That might have been twice now in the last couple laps, but in Richard Hurst's case, you know, Texas is one of those tracks where I always kind of note the fastest guys in general, and if all of a sudden I'm up there in the first 20 laps or so, I'm running side by side and I'm pushing it, and there's usually a reason for that. That means maybe you're pushing those tires a little too hard. You kind of just want to stay behind them. You got to be really, really selective with moves at a track like Texas. A very fast track, but a very technical one once we get the tires worn down. Look at the lap times right now, sitting at about 31.3s. You can see the fall off there in the last 4 laps. It's dropped about 0.2. It's going to continue to go that way. New tires, we said they do make a big difference. That is going to hold the case as we are now officially under the lights here at Texas. We're going to take our first commercial break of the night, but we'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Back live at Texas Motor Speedway for the Everything's Bigger 225. Your current leader, Kenneth Rittinger, Matthew Dyer, still hanging on to second. Joey Hickox has moved up to third. During our side-by-side break, Justin Parham fourth, and Rodney Roberts now up, rounding out the top 5. Matthew Fritz and Robert E. Morrison. And actually, it looks like Robert E. Morrison is not on the lead lap. I was just getting ready to compliment him. He's having a pretty good run, and I was surprised because of the damage, but unfortunately for him, he is not on the lead laps. You see him falling some positions there. Been a little bit of a tougher season for the 43, but a lot of just kind of bad luck, if you will. And he's going to be looking to try to turn that around a little bit towards the end of this season to get some momentum for the start of next season. So you got playoff drivers, your top 4, and then you have 2 more of them in 6th and 7th. And then after that, you got a couple more. Paul Witt in 16th, down a lap. Man, that damage is really struggling, making the 429 struggle, I guess I should say it that way. And then Jay Stinson, of course, has retired from the race, assuming due to damage. Of course, we saw him in that second wreck. Didn't notice him in that first wreck. And yeah, man, Paul Witt, just speed not looking like it's there right now. The 429 sitting a lap down. He would need a lot of luck at this point, a miracle almost, if he wants a chance at getting really any good points out of the night. And because of the incident that happened, he really didn't get any points in stage 1 either. He got the pole, but Paul Witt is going to need a really, really good week next week, probably, for his chances at the Final 4. He had a lot of momentum carried over to this race, though. He's just going to have to try to scratch out of his head and move on. But up front, we talked about the pack was going to continue to diminish as the runs went on, and now we dropped from about 8 to about 6, then 4. And now we drop down to 2, and it's 2 teammates. Kenneth Riedinger and Matthew Dyer still battling out. You can tell Dyer is being very, very patient. He's kind of looking around. And I think if Kenneth leaves the door open at all, he's going to try to take it. But each move you make at this point in a tire run, you may not have a chance to make another one. You wear those tires out too much. We've seen what's happening. And these two have pulled away almost 2 seconds now for third place, Justin Parham and Joey Hickox. I think this may have been our first pit stop. Oh, sure enough, it is. Joey Hickox, it looks like Richard Hurst, who is struggling. They were both on pit road here. Joey going in the earliest of all the guys that were up front. So the 31, a little bit fresher tires. And what's going to be for him, looks like 23-ish to go till the stage break. We'll see what the 31 truck can do. You do go a lap down here at Texas. So he certainly would not want to see that caution right now if there were to be one. He wants to see this thing cycle out. And now we'll see if this draws down your 2 leaders. And if it doesn't, how long do they stay out? I think you can't stay out too long here. If you do, you might get in trouble in the sense of he might just make up too much time. And in fact, we're going to compare these lap times here to your leader. 31.5s right now. We're going to compare that in just a moment. That's Justin Parham. He's on pit road. He got the memo. He wanted to take advantage of some new tires. And we will compare that anyway, though, to Joey Hickox's times in just a minute. They continue to stay out. 2 is on the back bumper. You got to know Kenneth's feeling the pressure a little bit. But, I mean, hey, knowing their teammates, they might have kind of mutually agreed to just ride a little interesting to see there that Matthew Dyer is working about a truck up middle line kind of groove. We don't usually see that work too well in 3 and 4 here at Texas, but he's making it happen right now. They're similar line through 1 and 2. Looks like Matthew Dyer's maybe trying to get a little lower, a little earlier to get a little more clean air on the nose. That Ford F-150. But earlier, Kenneth Riedinger got in a battle, had to use a fast pair, got some heavy damage, but since then, he's been on rails. His teammates have been pretty fast, too. All right, let's go check on Joey Hickox. DJ Madish is on the pits, too, in the 25 machine. But let's look at the lap times here. Remember, it was 31.5s last time we checked. Joey Hickox, who on those fresh tires, well, his first lap was a 30.7. Let's see what this second lap's going to be here. And it looks like it is going to be a 30.8. That's pretty good. Almost a second fall off. It's a pretty good margin. He's making about a second each lap on these guys, and I don't even think he was back more than a second or 2. Kenneth Riedinger, he is going to go ahead and pit this time now. 24 truck goes into the pits. Matthew Dyer is going to stay out an extra lap. Looks like he gets in clean. Texas, not the trickiest pit road to go to, but still a little difficult nonetheless, because you got to all of a sudden go from probably about upper 160s, maybe low 170s through 3 and 4 down to pace speed, which is probably 40, 45 if I had to guess. In fact, let's look at his dashboard here. Yep, somewhere in the 40s it's looking like. Rodney Roberts, he is also in the pits. We had a lot of takers this time. Justin Bentley, Tristan Fortson. And we will see if this is going to turn over the lead to Joey Hickox. He's working his way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Currently sitting in 7th. We'll watch for that gap here. Let's see if we can see through the pit lane cam. There goes Kenneth Riedinger. Joey Hickox getting ready to dive into turn 1. So is Justin Parham. So those two kind of came out pretty even. I think that would give the advantage to Parham. Let's see. How is this going to fan out? Oh, man. Kenneth Riedinger, he lost quite a bit of time there. Going in a couple laps later, he is still getting up to speed as these guys dive full speed down into turns 3 and 4. And people are taking notes right now. They're gonna decide here for how they decide to pit in the later run. If you pit early and it works out, you make speed, then I think that's gonna be the strategy the rest of the way. However, if Kenneth Riedinger is able to catch and pass these guys before the stage is over, then we might see guys try to hold out a bit longer. Oh, we almost got a spin. We may have a spin here at a turn 2 on the pits. Couldn't figure out who that was. Couldn't tell who that was. It looks like that may have been Tristan Fortson. Or no, that wasn't right here. Trying to figure out who that was. Oh, the 17 did. Oh man, did spin again into pit road though. That was a pretty big impact. Ouch. Couldn't figure out exactly who took that second impact there, unless it was Randy Bonomi. See if we can figure it out. That doesn't look like it was the 66. 66 is going to come into pit here. It looked like it was all pretty clean. Until all of a sudden it wasn't. Fast forward this through his pit stop. And it is important to note, everybody on these stops, you could have played a little strategy here if you wanted, I guess. Maybe you decide to take 2, but just don't see that strategy working out. I got to assume everybody did indeed take 4 fresh tires. Here's the 66 out of pit road. I'm not sure if this is what I saw or not. Just taking a quick view of it. Make sure, and it looks like it was not. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure who that was that we saw kind of half spin it out of pit road, unless that was Matthew Dyer. That very well may have been who that is. Let's see where he's running right now. That should be your best. Oh, it was indeed. It looks like it was Matthew Dyer, and that gave him a penalty because of that. Ooh, that's a mistake for the 2 truck. He is certainly going to lose a lap from this. And this is going to be a tough one to recover for. He's going to have to hope that he can stay the first truck a lap down. Otherwise, he's going to have to fight pretty hard the rest of the night to get back on the lead lap. Justin Parham is still leading, and he has made a gap over Joey Hickox. Kenneth Rittinger, though, he's making a lot of time on these guys, and I think he's going to get there. Sits at about 1.6 seconds behind your leader. He's going to have to work around Joey, who's probably not just going to completely lay over. He knows stage points are important. And I always felt like when you see some of the big hitters, such as Paul Witt, Matthew Dyer, guys that you know have been great all night, falling out of contention. Paul Witt with damage, Matthew Dyer now with a penalty. It always made you run just a little bit harder because you know that this is going to be your race to really take advantage, get that good finish next week. Maybe you don't have to work quite as hard. We are approaching the halfway mark here. 72 of 150 complete at Texas, if you're just tuning in. We appreciate you being here for the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays, round of 8. Race 1 of 2. There's Matthew Dyer back out on track, and man, that is a tough break. Went down 2 laps. At least 2 so far from what it's shown. Maybe 3. I'm not sure if the leader's just going by counter or not. We'll find out at the line right here. And if he's not able to get any of those laps back right here, he might have enough time, though. He's going to have probably 12 laps to do it, and he's going to have fresher tires than everybody else. Yep, so he's being scored 2 laps down. Justin Parham still leading. Kenneth Rittinger's got it down to about a second, and he is now on the back bumper of Joey Hickox. Joey thought about me doing a block, thinks twice about it, doesn't have a fast car left. No point in being too aggressive. Matthew Dyer, I think he might be able to get one of those laps back. He really needs to. And then can he track down Robert E. Morrison? That would be the other question. Let's see where Morrison's running right now. Turns 3 and 4. Yeah, these guys are just now working their way into 1. Don't know if he's got enough laps to catch the 43 truck, but he does get by Joey Hickox, and he's setting his sights on that 19 truck of Justin Parham. Justin Parham, you gotta feel like, well, I mean, I'm not sure it's his teammate, but it's also one of his biggest competitors out here tonight, him in the 24, and this could be an interesting battle. I think Kenneth's going to catch him here, and definitely the next 5 laps. I think he'll be there at the latest by lap 80. He's got the gap at 0.3 seconds. Never mind, he's going to get there sooner than that. He'll have a draft this lap down the front stretch as well, and he is going to be knocking on his door into turn 1. DJ Mattis could play a role here. He's got to try to get out of the way, and he's going to run the top line. Dives it down. Does he get in front of the leaders? No, he doesn't. He's just going to need a little bit of an arc. Justin Parham, Kenneth Rittinger, Matthew Dyer. That would have been a 3-truck battle for the lead right now, but of course Matthew Dyer, after the penalty, have spun it out of the pits. Looks like Kenneth looked low, nothing there, but he's going to get a big run through the center of the corner. My goodness. Gets right alongside his teammate, and he is going for the pass on the backstretch. And with only 10 laps to go in stage 2, your new leader is going to be Kenneth Rittinger in the 24 truck. Going back here a little bit farther, the 47 of Sam Boutwell is still hanging around 7th. Been a top 10 truck for the most part tonight. He's kind of had some struggles. And here he is with a good run right now, up 4 from where he started. Still, Richard Hurst has recovered overall, I'd say, pretty nicely from that contact earlier, and it looks like he has chosen to use the fast repair. And I like that choice. I mean, I know the damage, of course, might have been affecting him, but in general, if I have any damage that's more than a scratch and I'm not a playoff driver, I'm out here to run fast and have some fun. I am not trying to run around the rest of the race with damage, hoping for a late caution. I like the idea of the 76. Just go ahead, using that fast repair, dealing the damage, and just trying to see if he can maybe get back to the front here after this stage break. It's been a good long run here so far. We had a couple cautions early. Cautions seem to breed cautions, but the 2 of Matthew Dyer has gotten around your leaders. That has put him back to only 1 lap down. And now the question is, can he track down Robert E. Morrison before the end of this stage? Robert Morrison is working his way just out of turn 2. Matthew Dyer currently on the front stretch, just not looking like he's going to have enough time still. And the pit cycles seem to have shown that going early didn't really work so well, as what was a pretty close battle. I mean, I guess to be fair though, we didn't really get a chance to actually see how close Matthew Dyer would have been. We saw the result for Joey Hickox and Justin Parham, who were up there running for a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be more time lost overall than gained from this tire strategy. At least for Joey Hickox. Justin Parham still sitting within a second of his teammate. Matthew Fritz up in the top 5 and 4th. He is having a great run here, up 6 from where he started. And the Manny Rays orange 48 Chevy Silverado made the round of 16. He's kind of one of those, I almost want to call him a sleeper pick, in the sense of we don't always talk about him. You don't see him maybe necessarily up there always leading, looking to win races, but he's always having a very consistent top 5, top 10 finish, and that's been a big part of what's got him this far, and a big part of what makes him such a good teammate for Hickox Racing. Hickox Racing, by the way, did get all 4 of their drivers into the playoffs. We had one of them eliminated from the round of 16. That was Randy Bonomi, and now we have had, well, Jay Stinson with bad luck here tonight, but all 3 of them are still in the round of 8. We will see, though. I think the 13 truck of Jay Stinson is going to be another one of those guys that's going to really need a lot to go his way next week if he wants a chance at making it to that final 4 championship race. Kenneth Rittinger, though, has got to put together a few more good sets of corners here, as he is going to be coming to 3 laps to go next time. Matthew Dyer still watching that battle between him and Robert E. Morrison. Okay, well, he's closing up a little bit more than I initially thought, but he's just now getting into turn 3 as Robert E. Morrison is diving into turn 1. Still not quite looking like there's going to be enough time there. Kenneth Rittinger has got absolutely no pressure. The gap between him and second place is now almost 2 seconds. Joey Hickox in 3rd. Matthew Fritz still 4th, and Rodney Roberts rounding out the top 5. Matthew Dyer is your last playoff driver currently out on track. Lights fully on here in Texas. And it's, you know, up here in the booth, it makes it a little harder that we took out some of the big hitters so early. I think Matthew Dyer is still going to be fun to watch, how he tries to work his way through the field while also saving some tire. But, man, Paul Witt was another one of the drivers that we expected so much from tonight. And he's recovered here pretty nicely. He's got himself back on the lead lap, currently sitting in 8th. We tried a little strategy, but that damage still don't think is helping the 429 much here at all. See how, if he can keep the track position, how fast that truck looks during that final stage, especially during the restart. But it always seemed like damage at 1.5 miles each lap that goes by, the worse it hurts your truck when all of a sudden tires start to fade out and you really rely on the aero more than you do the rubber. And that is going to do it here. We got one more lap to go here for stage 2. White flag. Kenneth Rittinger works his way nicely through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, he is not going to be able to catch Matthew Dyer, who is going to stay only 1 lap down. And now with a lot more trucks going lap down, he is going to have to battle a few, but either way, out of turn 4, Grandstands Racing's Kenneth Rittinger, he is going to take stage 2. Pretty dominant fashion as well for the 24 truck. 86 of 150, and caution is going to go ahead and fly here in just a moment to officially wrap it up. Still working his way down the backstretch, waiting for that caution to fly. And there it is. Again, it is a scheduled caution wrapping up stage 2. We had one on lap 28 as well. And now it is going to be a sprint to the finish from here. Going to group everybody back up. Everybody is going to take their last set. Not their last set. I think everybody's going to have 1 set remaining actually after this. And if you played some strategy, maybe you saved some and lost track position now, maybe you have 2 sets left. Boy, I'll tell you what, I would feel really, really comfortable if I had 2 sets left right now. But we had that first screen one. I think everybody took another one sometime between those 2 cautions. Then we had one right there during the pit. That's 3 of the 5. Everybody you know is going to take a set right here as well. That should leave everybody with that 1 set. So Justin Parham finishes second, Joey Hickox third, Matthew Fritz fourth, Rodney Roberts fifth, Tim Boutwell sixth, Richard Hurst seventh, Russ Kilgore eighth, Paul Witt ninth, and Justin Bentley rounds out the top 10. 87 laps, and we are going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we are going to get an interview from your stage winner. Stick with us. Back live at Texas Motor Speedway, where stage 1 and 2 have been completed. We haven't gotten official word yet on if the stage 1 winner was indeed Matthew Dyer or the man that was leading the time of caution, which still might have been Matthew Dyer. But either way, we certainly know who your stage 2 winner was. That's because he led almost every lap. Kenneth Rittinger. Kenneth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, you and both of your teammates looking really, really fast here to start the night. You're going to be lining back up on the front row here again. Pretty similar length, stage 3 here to stage 2. What's the game plan here? Do you continue trying to save those tires? Do you maybe try to build a lead and then save some?
Yeah, there's no point in trying to push it. With that draft in 3 and 4, you can't pull away from anybody, so it's just best to try to save your tires in 1 and 2 and just make do in 3 and 4 with the draft.
Well, the other question...
So try not to push it too hard.
Absolutely, and I wanted to say, well, speaking of those tires, another question I wanted to ask you here is, you know, if we have a late restart, we know everybody had 5 sets, but I'm kind of thinking everybody's probably used 3 to 4 already. Do you have an extra set laying around for if we get a late caution, or only the one that you're going to have here for the pit stop?
So I've got 2 sets of tires left, so I got plenty of tires for the rest of the race here.
All right, well, you have been fun to watch all night. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking to you at the end.
Thank you.
I'll slide Kenneth back down to his team. And, man, I think he's in, well, just about the catbird seat. He's got 2 sets of tires left, so he's going to use one on the pit stop, assuming we go that long, and then he will have one for that late caution. I think that's just about all you can ask for here. We should be getting the 1-to-go signal this time. And that would make us go green with 59 laps to go. So now I would say we're starting to get down to that point of you're kind of starting to feel like it's crunch time. Not quite. I think once we get that final pit stop out of the way is when you'll really see guys starting to go for it. And I would have normally said split this last stage in half, but it seemed like staying out as long as you could may have worked out better because you can really use up those tires. But you know, we always see varying strategies, and I think we're going to see some more varying ones right here. Keep an eye on Joey Hickox, 31, Matthew Fritz, Justin Parham. You gotta think everybody's taking notes on what Kenneth Rittinger's doing here, and what he said I think should apply to the rest of the field here. That draft is so powerful. If you're not the leader, man, use it to your advantage. There's no point in going into the corner any harder than you need to. You know that you can make up a decent amount of distance, probably about a 10th or 2 just on the straightaways with the draft. So maybe let off just a little bit through 3 and 4. I know you can go full throttle, especially on new tires, and it feels fine, but maybe let off a little bit there. 1 and 2, maybe back the entry up, try to roll the center a little better. We'll see how everybody decides to go about it. Or at the same time, track position has been important, and it does seem like although the draft is powerful, it's a little hard to make a pass here at Texas, especially when we get into the late going. So maybe we see guys get a little more aggressive here on this restart. The way we're about to find out, stage 3 is getting ready to get underway here for the Everything's Bigger 225 from No Limits Texas. Pace truck takes the hard left turn. Kenneth Rittinger works his way up to the Geico restart zone. 59 laps to go at Texas. Green flag is back in the air. And this was a big jump from Kenneth Rittinger. The only battle right now is going to be for second as he pulls probably 3 or 4 truck lengths on the rest of the field. Diving down into turn 1 though for the first time. Everybody looking pretty clean so far. Oh, we got the 47 of Sam Boutwell around. More contact's going to ensue. Caution's out. Oh man, Sam Boutwell, a playoff driver. Looks like he got into it. Somebody else couldn't tell who it was. Ooh, it's going to be Russ Kilgore. Oh man, I hate that for Russ. He was having a pretty good night. And I don't think we're obviously really going to see any pit stops here unless it's for damage repairs from some of those guys that were in it. But this looked like the 47. Yeah, it does get a little sketchy on the first lap in 1 and 2. It hasn't really been an issue for anybody here so far tonight, but Sam Boutwell may have been just trying to get a little bit too much right here. Gets a little out of the racing line, and that thing just comes around on him. Russ Kilgore nowhere to go. Oh my goodness, the 43 of Robert E. Morrison. Looks like he ended up upside down. He goes for a slide before finally flipping back over onto all 4 wheels. My goodness, let's take a couple more views of this. Wow. It's a pretty big hit for the 43. That might end his night unless he's got a fast repair. He had already had quite a bit of damage. Let's take a look from TV3 right here. Oh man, he got into DJ Madish a little bit as well. And I want to ride on board with Robert E. Morrison because that was a pretty wild ride. And he couldn't really see. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what happened there. So Robert E. Morrison, initially I was kind of wondering. I was like, didn't look like he really slowed down. He was also loose almost at the same time Sam Boutwell got loose, so he didn't really have a chance to check up. And once he had saved it, he'd already gotten to the back of DJ Madish, and it was just a mess. Much that he could really do about it there. So it looks like we got a couple of the damaged trucks on pit road, but up front, Kenneth Rittinger. Don't think that caution's going to hurt him too much. Only bad side is maybe it gives him a little bit less laps to pull away, but everybody's going to take that. Shortens this up a little bit here. Should be going back green or 95, lap 95, 96. Justin Parham, Joey Hickox, Rodney Roberts, and Matthew Fritz. All the other drivers in the top 5 besides your leader. Let's go back, and I mean, we've had quite a few guys exit this race. For as small of a field as it already is, this just makes it feel that much smaller. And looking around, Jay Stinson, William McKellar, they're out of the race. So is Treston Fortson. Russ Kilgore looks like he may have retired, and Robert E. Morrison is stuck on pit road. Looks like he's got pretty heavy damage. So we started the race with 19. Right now it looks like we have 14 on track. And on top of that, looks like we only have 12 on the lead lap. The good thing with that caution, though, was Matthew Dyer did get the lucky dog. Got his lap back. He had a lot of speed, and I think we're going to see the 2 truck back in contention from this. DJ Madish is going to be next in line as of right now. Sam Boutwell still sitting out in 11th, was able to stay on the lead lap, and looks like he did indeed use his fast repair now. Vicente Guerrero in 10th. Robert Jordan 9th. Justin Bentley 8th. Paul Witt 7th. Boy, he was fast earlier. Had the pole truck, but got in a wreck and then got in another one. And fortunately, the damage seems to have been holding him back since. Richard Hurst, good run all night. Currently sits in 6th. And we already talked about your top 5. So we are going to get the 1 to go. It looks like on lap 95, we'll go green on 96. And that's going to put us at 55 laps left here at Texas. Officials, I believe it was 40. There's 40 laps around here. Similar to the length of an official, which is still going to be a pit stop. These guys are not going to go on fuel yet by any means. But we're at that point in the race. Let's see if we can get an interview here. I'll tell you what, let's see if we can get an interview from Joey Hickox, currently running 2nd. Hey, Joey, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Pretty good. Well, I mean, it's been a pretty good race so far. Had a couple cautions early. Going to get a caution right here, but the truck looks pretty fast. A lot of the big hitters, a lot of the playoff drivers have had issues so far tonight. How do you try to take advantage here the rest of the way and make as many points as possible?
No, just try to get the best finish we can. I don't really know if I got anything for Kenneth or Justin here, but I feel like we got a good, top 3, top 4 truck. So just try to keep it clean the rest of the way, and hopefully we come out here with a good finish and move on to Vegas next week.
Well, I want to ask you kind of the same question I asked Kenneth here. We know that we still have a pit stop, a green flag stop, assuming that we don't have any cautions. But if we were to get that late caution, would you still have an extra set of tires laying around, or do you only have 1 left in the pits?
Nah, I got 2 sitting down there, so if we get a late caution, I'll be good to go.
All right. Well, currently you're holding the flag for Hickox Racing. We'll see what you do the rest of the way. Good luck.
Yep, thank you, sir.
And interestingly enough, I see Richard Hurst and Hickox Racing. Not sure if that's a temporary alliance or what the deal is, but maybe there's something to that because Hickox Racing has some fast drivers, and Richard Hurst has certainly been running fast here tonight. The 45 of Rodney Roberts, he's going to be starting in row 2. We'll see what he can do. Of course, you see these guys usually race the playoff drivers with a little bit more respect than they would during the regular season. You certainly don't want to ruin a playoff driver's night, so that might mean if a playoff driver slips up a little bit, maybe does a late block, you cut him a little bit of a break, but same time, hey, a win is a win, and these guys are certainly all going for one. So row 1 is going to be the 24 and the 31. Row 2 is going to be the 19 and the 45, and row 3 is going to be the 48 and the 76. Got the 1 to go signal, so we're getting ready to go green this time. Going to be 5 laps away from the 100 lap mark. Long race tonight. Just a little bit short of next week at Las Vegas. About 10 laps short. Of course, Vegas is a mile and a half. So is Chicagoland. Chicago is a little bit longer on the other end of that spectrum. Going to be 160 laps. Both races, though, going to be at night. Both of those tracks are very, very fast. Draft heavy tracks. Similar to Texas. Getting excited for those. But we got business to finish up here. Kenneth Rittinger gets another good jump here. Gets clear of Joey Hickox by quite a bit. Rodney Roberts going to give a big push to the back of that 31 truck. That's going to help him stay side by side with the 19, Justin Parham. Down into turn 1. Ooh, the 19 maybe dove in there just a little bit late. Almost some contact. Everybody's keeping it together right now, though. Looks like the field a lot cleaner this time through turns 1 and 2 as they work their way down the backstretch, side by side, further back, but up front. Single file with Kenneth Rittinger out in front. Justin Parham still trying to get clear. Ooh, the 76, Richard Hurst. He is trying to get clear of Paul Witt. He's going to be able to do so out of turn 4. Again here, I think if you're Joey Hickox, you got to play it smart here. Got those 2 tire sets left, so you're kind of on the same strategy, at least as the leaders. There's Matthew Dyer in the back. I think he's just going to go with the strategy of saving some tire. He's probably going to need another caution, but I wouldn't rule him out just yet. Oh, man, big block further back. Not sure who that was. It looks like that was Robert Jordan, potentially on Vicente Guerrero. Sometimes those blocks don't work out too well. Looks like it's going to go over okay this time. 98 of 100 complete. Let's do a little NOMA Truck Series. Crank it up. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy that. 24 still out in front. The 45 truck has moved up to second, though. Justin Parham, Joey Hickox have faded a little bit quicker on this run than I would have expected. This might be these two guys just playing it safe, saving a little bit more tire than they did on the previous runs. But that's allowed Kenneth Rittinger and the 45 of Rodney Roberts to try to create a little bit of a gap here. That draft still holding everybody relatively close together, and it looks like Richard Hurst, we'll see if he has maybe learned from that little bit of a mistake there on the last run. It's going to save a little bit more tire here on this one. And I think you'll see that single file line all stay in line, stay tucked together. Here's Paul Witt back in 8th, running behind Justin Bentley, and the biggest thing fighting against him is just the speed deficit that he loses on the straightaways. And he'll lose it a little bit in the corners as we go on too, but man, just slight damage on tracks this big on the straightaways is what really, really kills you. 47 laps to go this time. Still waiting on that final pit stop. I'm expecting it somewhere around 25 to go. I think to be safe, the window opens with 30 to go, but I think we don't really see guys pit until 25 to go. And I think that cycle will finish up somewhere around 15 to go. We'll have to see how it all pans out, though. Rodney Roberts showing a lot of patience here as well in the 45 truck. Closes up on the back bumper, but doesn't look too aggressive or too early for a move here. Seems to be happy where he's at. Down into turn 1. A little bit interesting. That shows you just the effect of dirty air. The 45 actually got out of the gas earlier. That's why you saw the backfire out of the pipes from the 45 before you saw it out of the 24. But if you're Kenneth Rittinger, I mean, hey, the 45 is not a playoff driver. I know a win gets you extra points, but at the end of the day, you don't want to get into a little bit of a fit with the 45. If he's faster, just let him go. You know you've been doing a good job saving tires all night. Kenneth's one of the veterans in the league, though. He knows what he's doing. Oh, we had a couple guys clip the grass right there. That got a little close. I think that might have been the 45 of Rodney Roberts or the 19 of Justin Parham. Joey Hickox is going to clip the apron that time. And Matthew Fritz, here he is up inside the top 5, looking to see if he can get 4th from his teammate. Richard Hurst making sure he keeps the pressure on these two as well. Paul Witt still in 7th. He actually somehow found a way around Justin Bentley. Rodney Roberts still looking very fast. He is able to stay right on the back bumper. You got to know Kenneth Rittinger is feeling the pressure. Rodney Roberts, when I came out of the season, I believe this guy was running the Fireball paint scheme. And, he had some up and down runs. Didn't quite make the playoffs, but nonetheless, he's had speed when he's needed to. And showing a lot of speed here so far tonight. This is the first time we've really seen him up in the top 3 for a little while. But, man, that truck does look like it's kind of came to life here. You got to hope it's not him just using up the tires too much. And see if we can get out on board and take a listen. I gotta be honest, it sounds like the 45's using up a little bit more tire than I'd like to hear right there. We'll have to see how it pans out, but watch for in the late run here that 45 to all of a sudden start dropping like a rock. The two best tire savers, though, so far, we haven't really seen who it's going to be in this last run tonight, have been that 24 truck and the 2 of Matthew Dyer. And Matthew Dyer, how about it, went 2 laps down after a penalty. Now, one of his laps back the hard way. Got the second lap back due to a break from a caution, and he is now up to 7th place. And although I don't know if he's got a shot at the win, he certainly could still be looking to maybe see if he can pick off a couple more playoff drivers for position and help his standings out going into the second race in the round of 8 next week at Vegas. Vegas going to be completely different than the way Texas drive. Vegas is a track where you're basically full throttle most of the run, especially with it being a night race. However, you kind of still have to save some tires. It's kind of weird. That track turns into single file where you really can't make a move in the long run. But in the short run, that is one of the funnest to commentate tracks. Those guys go at it side by side. You can make the outside work. You make the inside work. You see all sorts of different ways people run it, but we're not really seeing differentiating ways between guys running between the leader and second place right now. Rodney Roberts seems to enter a lane higher. You see he's not quite able to get to the bottom right now. I think that's part of the dirty air, and also his tires starting to wear out. Kenneth Rittinger has not been able to quite break away from that 45 truck yet, but both of those two combined have started to break away from the rest of the field. The gap between those two and Justin Parham is starting to inch closer and closer to about a second. 31 of Joey Hickox still hanging around in 4th position. I think he's just saving some tires, waiting to make his move. And You almost don't even have to necessarily make your move now if you don't want to. If you want to stay patient enough, you can just save it. Stay as close as you can and take advantage during that pit stop. But Joey Hickox, he is going to indeed try to get around the inside here of Justin Parham. Is Justin going to let him have it? And it looks like he's not going to fight him too hard for it. It's going to slide in behind, though. Slams the door on Richard Hurst. 38 laps to go, excuse me, here at Texas Motor Speedway. Justin Parham still set on the line. Looked like maybe he was thinking about another move, but he's going to think better of it. After that big group, though, kind of single filed out. Sam Boutwell got around Paul Witt. Those are two playoff drivers going at it with nights that are definitely not going the way they wanted it to. Up front, we still keep a pretty close eye on this battle between Rodney Roberts and Kenneth Rittinger. The 45 was really close for a numerous amount of laps. He's started to fade a little bit, about a truck length off now, but nonetheless, that draft is still keeping him up in line and in tow. And I do suspect that we are now probably about 5 laps or so, 5 to 7 laps, excuse me, away from that fuel window opening. But you know, it didn't work out in stage 2, so I would still be surprised if guys tried the early stop strategy. But if you have nothing else to lose, maybe you do try it and you kind of hope for a caution, because you know that once everybody pits and it cycles out, you're going to have the lead initially. It's just a matter of trying to hold that lead for the rest of the race, which I don't think would work out too well. But if you get a caution and you have the lead, you know everybody's coming back down for tires. Maybe you find yourself in a good position for the last 10 laps or so if we were to have one. And if we had trends, I would definitely say that it is not completely out of the picture for a caution, but with only 12 trucks still on the lead lap here and everybody pretty spread out, it definitely does not look all that likely. Field very spread out. Lap traffic definitely not too much of a factor here so far tonight, and doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a factor the rest of the way through this race. Rodney Roberts is now back almost half a second, and he is shortly going to be falling back to that second pack where Joey Hickox is leading Justin Parham. Richard Hurst, Matthew Fritz in that battle as well. But actually, those two have kind of faded off as well. If we do get a restart with anywhere, I would say with 20 or less to go, it is going to be absolutely crazy, because you won't see really guys tires saving. It'll be more or less everybody fighting for track position, inside, outside, whatever you can make work. And it looks like Kenneth Rittinger's teammate is going to help him out a little bit more, because he's going back to battle here with Hickox racing. The 31 of Joey Hickox on the outside. He's going to try to make it work for at least turns 3 and 4. He can't do it, and I think, he's going to, never mind. Thought for a second that looked a lot closer than it was. I thought Joey was going to try to slam the door, but he had plenty of room at a truck length. The 76 of Richard Hurst. He's going to be able to close back in on the back bumper with that. Apologize for that noise. Looks like I dropped my mic a little bit here. We are approaching 30 laps to go here at Texas. Rodney Roberts hung strong for a while, but Kenneth Rittinger, to think that this guy was saving tires while keeping the clean air and is still pulling a gap on everybody, just shows you just how impressive he is. And you know, last week I would have said Paul Witt was probably the championship favorite, not because nobody else is equally as talented, but because he had all the momentum on his side coming into this week, gets the pole. I'm thinking maybe he's got the winning truck again, but like a light switch, everything changed, and Paul Witt, after 2 early incidents, finds himself definitely not with the run he was certainly looking for. Not a horrible run, all things considered, but he is currently back in 10th position. I'm not sure. He's going to need a pretty good week, I would assume, next week if he wants to make it to the Final Four, where Kenneth Rittinger on the opposite end didn't have the best week last week. But here he is having a great one so far here tonight, and we're going to try not to give him the announcer jinx, because, boy, it seems like he has been caught up in more wrecks of battles that he really shouldn't have had to been fighting, things that almost, I would say, extra variables that he shouldn't have had to worry about, but he certainly did. And 30 laps to go, that fuel window's open. We're watching for pit stops each and every lap. I was saying, I think more realistically, I think 5 laps from now is when that really starts to open, but we got a couple guys in here. It looks like Vicente Guerrero and Justin Bentley, they have made their way down to the pit lane. Cool if we had a pit reporter, but we do not. And now how long before you see these guys go in? If Joey Hickox and Justin Parham are on the tire saving end of it, I think maybe they try to stay out a little longer, but if they just don't have the speed they're looking for, I think your best shot is going to go ahead and be to pit early. And it looks like, did Rodney Roberts pit? He sure enough did. The 45, he's decided he wants to go ahead and come in here as well. I think this is going to continue to draw in more and more takers each time. Not a playoff driver there in Rodney Roberts. So now Joey Hickox is going to take over second place. Kenneth Rittinger still leading, and Justin Parham third. For any of these top three to decide to go down to the pits this time, looks like Kenneth Rittinger decides better of it. So does second, third, fourth, and fifth. Matthew Dyer, he is continuing to close up on this battle now. He's almost up to Matthew Fritz. Still overall a very, very impressive night for the 48 and an impressive comeback for the 2 of Matthew Dyer. But Grandstand Racing, they have been very, very strong throughout the entire season. Strong again here throughout the playoffs, and we will see if they can get one of their drivers the championship. You know, I know I did note earlier that Hickox Racing had gotten all 4 of their drivers in, but Grandstand Racing just equally got all 3 of their drivers in, not only to the first round, but into the second round here as well, the round of 8. If they could get all 3 into the round of 4, that would be quite the statement, and that would give them pretty good odds at getting one of their drivers to bring home the championship. Top 3 still staying out. Those are the guys we're keeping the biggest eye on. It looks like Richard Hurst still holding on to the top 4. I think he definitely did a better job of saving his tires this run, and that's what you like to see. Guys learning. It looks like the 2 Grandstand Racing drivers, they're going to choose to pit here while Joey Hickox stays out. So Kenneth Rittinger, Justin Parham, they both pit, and Justin Parham made up, it looks like, a decent amount of time on his teammate here. Looks like he just got on pit road better, and that could be important here. We'll have to keep an eye on this as they work their way out. That might be the battle for the lead if Justin Parham can stay close enough. Maybe a little quicker pit stop, maybe even gets out sooner. And now I think we're definitely going to see Joey Hickox pit this time. Sure enough, he is. Joey Hickox is now also enter the pits. Looks like, oh, Matthew Fritz locking it up. Not sure if he was able to get it down to speed or not. Matthew Dyer in. Kenneth Rittinger and Justin Parham both off pit road now. Robert Jordan is in his stall. Gets the fuel, the 4 tires back out. Oh, he's got to be careful here. Joey Hickox has got to get into his stall. And oh, man. Thankfully, those 2 were still ghosted. That may not have ended too well. Matthew Dyer, you see, getting into his pit stop as well. And so now that's just going to leave Richard Hurst out, leading the way. Sam Boutwell second. He might be looking to play the caution strategy. See if it works out for him or not. We're going to take a look at the pit lane cam here. Watch for your leaders and watch for everybody else to make their way out of the pits. There goes Joey Hickox and Matthew Fritz. Looks like Matthew Dyer had a bit of a slow stop. That might hurt him just a little bit. Joey Hickox still working his way up to speed. It's going to be really close. Richard Hurst has now made his way into the pits. Rodney Roberts came out with the lead. No surprise there. And it looks like Kenneth Rittinger and Justin Parham going to try to battle it out. All right, 24 laps to go. No more pit stops scheduled unless we get a caution. It's go time. I think maybe you save a little bit of tire here for about the first 10 to 15 laps, 10 to go. Whatever you got left, you better be using them. And Joey Hickox, he was able to hold out a lap longer. We'll see if that extra lap of tire is going to be enough for the 31 to catch. I don't know, but Sam Boutwell, the last truck to pit. Here he is in his box. Looks like Treston Fortson just behind him. Rodney Roberts, though, is going to take the lead, of course, once everything does get caught up. He's not going to quite be able to hold on to that, not for the rest of the way. 23 laps. Going to be just too much time to try to hold off Kenneth Rittinger and Justin Parham. Joey Hickox as well. They're just on way too newer of tires, if you will. And let's actually take a look at the lap time. If I can pull it up here. There we go. 30.4 for Rodney Roberts on that last lap. 30.2 for Kenneth Rittinger. And so now that those tires are starting to flip a little bit. That's what we expect to see. But who knows? Maybe the 45 tries the strategy here of just running them hard and not saving any. Kenneth saving some. I don't know. Maybe it catches him off guard. Maybe it does. It's hard to say, but looks like Justin Parham is starting to fade a little bit here in the first 5 laps or so on this new tire set, at least from his teammate. But I don't think that's anything on Justin Parham. I think that's just how fast the 24 continues to be week in and week out. Joey Hickox still 4th, and Richard Hurst cycles out in the top 5. Still has a shot at a podium here. Matthew Dyer 6th. Did not have a good pit stop, and pit stops have been the thing that have continued to bite that 2 truck all night. Rodney Roberts, though, right now has a 2 2/10 second lead over second place Kenneth Rittinger. He's going to be coming to 20 laps to go. Field very spread out. Let's see if lap traffic could potentially be a factor. It might. They might have a couple trucks that they catch up to here. Certainly not going to be that many. It looks like DJ Madish is the only lap truck in sight right now, at least for your leader. He is currently diving down into turn 1 here right about now. Rodney Roberts hitting the start-finish line and now dives down into turn 1 as well, so he should be catching him in probably a handful of laps or so. With those 20 laps to go, we are going to take one more quick side-by-side break so I can get a quick drink of water. Otherwise, we would stay green. We'll be right back. Back live at Texas Motor Speedway with 17 laps to go. You didn't miss a thing there on our side-by-side break. And I guess if you want to call it disclaimer for everybody wondering, normally we don't take that many breaks. For some reason tonight, it has just been hard to commentate without getting a drink of water every 30 laps or so, it seems like. So I do apologize for the 3 commercials instead of the usual 2 at most. But we appreciate anybody that came out tonight. Again, I know we didn't have the biggest field, but wrapping up the season here for the NOMA Truck Series, getting ready for next season. Things will be explosive at the start. We're getting excited for it. Kenneth Rittinger, he's got that gap down to about half a second here with 16 laps to go, and I think he's going to be there within probably the next 2 laps or so, maybe even less than that. And he's in the draft now big time, so I think he's going to be there this time into turn 1 potentially. You see the 25 of DJ Madish there in the background. He could play a little bit of a pick here for either of these trucks, but overall, Kenneth Rittinger just has way too new of tires for Rodney Roberts to really be able to do too much of anything. Justin Parham's still hanging within reaching distance of his teammate. Then Joey Hickox, he tried the later strategy, but just doesn't look like he's going to be able to quite find anything else in that 31 truck. Continues to fade here. There he goes. Rodney Roberts was looking for a big block. That's a really, really aggressive move by the 45. Can Kenneth Rittinger make it work on the outside? Looks like those newer tires are going to prevail. He certainly made him go the long way around about it, but he's going to make it work. Boy, that made my heart skip a beat there for just a second, and I got to assume Kenneth did the same. That could have been another one of those incidents that we were talking about of the 24 minding his own business. Again, Rodney Roberts, he's not a playoff driver, but at the same time, he's here to win. And he made sure he could do everything in his power right there to try to hold off the 24, but 24 truck, too strong, powerful move around the outside. New leader. At this point, if you're Kenneth Rittinger, you are just looking to get to that white flag. He's going to have to go around 12 more times before he'll see it. Oh, the 45 Rodney Roberts clipped the grass. That has been a thing we have seen so much of here tonight. And doing that, you might get yourself a yellow if you're not careful. That's the one thing Kenneth Rittinger does not want to see. He's got the fastest truck at this point. We know that. He's got the best track position. And the only thing he's battling against is the laps to go. Matthew Dyer back here in 6th. Good recovery overall, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get much more here without a caution. Richard Hurst in 4th. Some of these guys further back, though, Paul Witt, they would all love to see a caution, get some fresh tires. We know that things can get chaotic and hectic with a late restart, but Kenneth Rittinger, I think the last time we saw him have a dominant win where it went green at the end, he didn't have any chaos involved, was Kentucky. I believe that might have been one of the first races that I did here for the NOMA Truck Series. Grandstand Racing probably would have finished 1, 2, 3 tonight depending on how fast Joey Hickox was compared to Matthew Dyer. Hickox Racing had a good night, at least for Joey, but man, Randy Bonomi, Jay Stinson, not a good night for them. But no, man, Matthew Fritz, he must have had a penalty because he all of a sudden went from top 5, maybe top 7 truck. He still has the speed, but I think he got a penalty or something because he is back now to 12th, down 2 spots from where he initially had started the race. And Justin Parham, once we hit that 10 lap mark, I think that's where you got to try to go if you have anything left. I'm impressed that he's still hanging in that half a second region, so he's still in the draft. He doesn't have quite the full effect that maybe he gets if he's a little closer, but who knows? Maybe the 19 was saving a little bit here for the end. Could get really exciting. And it is now officially 10 to go. Last 150 lap race of the season. Going to be 140 at Vegas next week. And then the following week, the championship race, 160 laps at Chicagoland. Both of those excellent tracks. I'm excited for Chicago. I have never actually done a broadcast there. In fact, I've never driven a truck there. But I have a feeling that's going to be one of those tracks where it's pretty much flat out, if not quite flat out. See how tire wear works, and I want to see if anybody can work the top line. Definitely didn't see the top line be too effective here tonight. I think during the day, maybe it is, but at night, the bottom has just been so dominant, so much more grip. On new tire versus old tires, that's about the only time that we really saw the top line have anything working at all. But now Kenneth Riniger, while it is slow, is starting to stretch that gap back out. Joey Hickox, he's catching Justin Parham. He sits at about half a second behind Justin Parham. That would be to pick off second place. Top 3 are all playoff drivers. Justin Parham, after getting absolutely totaled in that first wreck, had to use his fast repair. Has been about as clean as anybody else in the field, along with his teammate Kenneth Riniger, since that incident has occurred. Rodney Roberts tried some strategy, worked out for a while, but now you see the tire effect of a late run, and he has fallen back to 4th. Richard Hurst in 5th. Matthew Dyer 6th. Sam Boutwell 7th. Justin Bentley 8th. Paul Witt in 9th. Robert Jordan 10th. Vicente Guerrero 11th. Matthew Fritz in 12th. DJ Mattis 13th. Randy Bonomi 14th. Robert E. Morrison, Russ Kilgore, Tristan Fortson, Jay Stinson, and William McKellar all off track, rounding out the rest of the field. All with incidents and too much damage to continue. Telling you though, Justin Parham, Joey Hickox, this thing, I would not say this thing's over just yet. These two are now, with Joey especially, Joey Hickox has all of a sudden caught the 19. Only 5 laps to go, but he is certainly making a lot of time, and Justin Parham is going to try to help his teammate out here by giving the 31 a hard time. But man, I think if the 19 wanted a shot at the win, if he let the 31 go, maybe he's got a shot, but track position way too important to even consider that an option here. It looks like Richard Hurst going to pick up another position here for top 4. That puts him 1 spot out of a podium finish here. Not sure if he's going to be able to quite get any farther up, but that's a good run nonetheless. The gap is now down to 4/10, under 4/10 of a second now. And just when you think Kenneth Riniger is going to be able to finish it off and run away with it, maybe not so much. Justin Parham, Joey Hickox, have they saved enough tire to go give something to the 24 truck? Off of turn 2, looks like maybe they struggle a little bit. He gains a little bit of time. Oh, Justin Bentley's off track here. Could this give a caution? No, looks like he saves it. Did he go for a little bit of a slide here down the front stretch? Oh, he's going to clip the grass. Ooh, actually, that was really odd looking. Not sure if he had a technical issue or what, but that was a good save. Keep it on the track. Keep us green. Going back live and up front. They are side by side. Joey Hickox looking to the low side. Oh, can he get it here down the backstretch? He really needs to in 3 and 4 if he wants a shot still at Riniger. But Justin Parham going to do everything he can here to help his teammate out. Races the 31 as hard as he can, but Joey Hickox, can he prevail out of 4? Still not quite. The 19 tries to hang it on the door. This time it's not going to be enough. Joey Hickox gets clear to take second. 3 laps to go. 7/10 of a second is the gap from him to first. Think he might just run out of time, even if he's got enough to close in. But for all we know, Kenneth Riniger is maybe just saving himself some tire up here. Of course, Joey had to burn a little bit more than he would have liked to, trying to get around the 19 of Justin Parham right there. Coming to 2 laps to go. Last lap for a caution right here if we're going to get one. If you're Kenneth Riniger, he is trying to get his way through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as quick as possible. He doesn't want to see any incidents. He doesn't want to hear about anybody struggling with handling. Easily led the most laps tonight. Green flag stops, cautions. He prevailed through all of them. Fought back after that incident early. Paul Witt got the bat end of the stick. The 24 on the other end. Little mistake early, but this time things looking like they're going to work out. Flagman's got the white flag in the air one more time around for Kenneth Riedinger at Texas. Looks in his mirror and he sees Joey Hickox, but what he doesn't see is the 31 truck getting any bigger. One more lap truck, but he's not going to catch him. That's Vicente Guerrero. Joey Hickox giving all he's got through 1 and 2. Gap still at half a second for the final time into 3 and 4. Kenneth Riedinger, he knows he still has to have a good race next week, but this is going to be a good start. Round of 8, race 1. Texas Motor Speedway is going to go to Kenneth Riedinger for Grandstand Racing. He wins the Everything's Bigger 225. And another dominant performance from Kenneth Riedinger. This time he does finish off the deal. Not quite the 1-2 finish for Grandstand Racing as Joey Hickox intercepts those two teammates. Takes home second. Good run for Joey. Very good run in second. Justin Parham in third. Richard Hurst fourth. Another good run. And Rodney Roberts in fifth. He's going to go ahead and burn it down. We're going to go get you top 3 for interviews. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back live at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to start with your third place finisher tonight, Justin Parham. Justin, you got a copy?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you were looking really fast there towards the end. I thought maybe you and Joey were going to have a shot at your teammate there, Kenneth Riedinger, but not quite. Overall, though, good race for you tonight. But tell us first about how you managed to recover after that first wreck.
Well, after the first wreck, me and Kenneth both, we went down, took tires, and then we just kind of just barely rode around the track because it was only like 3 laps until the end of the stage. That way we didn't waste no tires, and we came in and just got fuel only, and that put us right back up front. So it wasn't too bad of a struggle. It was,
well, I'll tell you what,
it's been nice to have the extra fast, but luckily we didn't need it.
Well, I was going to say, that's certainly an interesting strategy. I would not have thought about it, but very crafty, nicely done. The end of the run there, do you think you needed anything else to get your teammate, or was he just that much faster?
I used my tires up a little more than him, but I just struggled all night, mostly with maintaining my speed through 2. I just couldn't get off of 2 as good as he could.
Well, either way, you get a very nice podium finish tonight in third. You're going to have good momentum moving on to the second race of the round of 8. Good luck next week, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
And actually, you know what? I'll tell you what, before I let you go, Justin, I rudely forgot. I do apologize. We got to ask you, is anyone you want to take a shout out tonight?
Just a teammate for all the practice we put in this week, and the league for everything they do, letting us race every week, and y'all for broadcasting it for us.
All right, and with that, we will say congratulations, Justin Parham, your third place finisher tonight.
Uh-huh.
All right, and see, we're going to move on to second here in just a moment, and should be a pretty happy guy. That's going to be Joey Hickox. Good run for him tonight. Hey, Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Good. All right. Well, you found a lot of speed there towards the end. I thought you were another driver that was going to have something there for the 24 truck, but on that last run, you tried some strategy there. It looked like you went in a lap later than the other guys. Do you think that was the right call, or do you wish maybe you would have went in a little earlier?
No, I wanted to lead a lap, so that was, we're fighting for a championship. I want to get to that Final Four, so any bonus points I can get. I wanted to lead a lap. I really didn't think I had much for the top two, but once I seen Rodney pit so early, I figured, well, we'll be able to run him back down because of just tire wear at this place. So I'm not gonna go back and say I did something wrong. It may not have been the right call. I don't know, but I'm still fine with it. Still come back to finish second. And man, if I'd had like 10 more laps, I don't know. Maybe I'd be sitting in victory lane right now. Who knows?
Well, Texas certainly drives pretty different from what we're going to see next week at Vegas. A lot more draft dependent next week at Vegas, and there's still some tire saving that kind of goes on there. Do you think that what you learned here at Texas tonight helps you next week, or is it just completely different?
It's completely different. So, I mean, Vegas is my second favorite track next to Daytona, so I love Vegas. So I can't wait to get there next week and hopefully just improve by one spot. But main goal is to get to that Final Four so we can go to Chicagoland and fight for a championship.
All right, well, good luck next week. But before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank, shout out?
Yeah, man, I got to thank my team, Hickox Racing. Jay Stinson put in a ton of work this week with us, and to thank him, thank Matthew Fritz, Randy Bonomi, Chris Akers, who is actually off drag racing tonight. So good luck to him. Got to thank all my sponsors, Manny Rays, Cemetery Designs, Flatwoods Hunting Club, Blue Ridge Auto Group, and H&H Tractor Works, man. Dude, without them, we wouldn't be able to put this league on. It's a lot of fun. I greatly appreciate everything they do for us.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the second place finish.
And thank you for broadcasting, too. I knew I was forgetting something.
All right, absolutely. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, buddy.
All right, and actually, ironically, I will not see him next week, but I might be tuning in anyway. These guys put on a heck of a show each week. Let's move on now to your winner of the week here, if we can drag him up, and that is going to be Kenneth Reininger. And I failed to pull him up. Let's try this one more time here. All right, hey, Kenneth, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, you tack on another win to the season. You were very fast, and you found the right time to do it. After you got in that incident early on, what was going through your head?
Just not do that again. Coming off the corner there, wasn't expecting to get loose like that. I got to go apologize to Paul Witt for turning in him. That was not what I wanted to do. Obviously, is turn myself and take my fast repair, took his, and I think he got in another wreck after that. But yeah, so after that, just trying to manage that looseness in traffic in 3 and 4. But other than that, I didn't really get out of shape too much after that. So,
well, another thing I want to kind of note here for you is, with this win, you got a lot of stage points tonight. Maybe not so much in the first stage, the second stage for sure. And then you bring home the win. Does that change the way you race next week? Do you just go for stage points or just the win? How do you play it out?
I'm going stage points and the win. It's just keep it up there, close to the front as possible.
All right, well, if you can do what you did this week, you very well can find yourself in victory lane again. All right, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Just my teammate and the league for putting everything on. And they put a lot of work in reviewing these races, especially when they get a lot of contact. So it's a chore for them, I'm guessing. So thanks to the league.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the win tonight at Texas.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Kenneth Reininger. He said he's going for it next week. I like that. That's my favorite kind of driver, is one that is not really worried too much about the point scenario. He's just ready to go out and try to get the win. All right, well, we talked to Kenneth Reininger, your winner tonight. Second place was Joey Hickox, Justin Parham third, Richard Hurst. Very good finish for him. And fourth, Ronnie Roberts fifth, Matthew Dyer sixth, Sam Boutwell seventh, Justin Bentley eighth. Paul Witt finishes ninth, Robert Jordan in 10th, 11th Vicente Guerrero 12th, Matthew Fritz, DJ Madison 13th, Randy Bonomi 14th, Russ Kilgore 15th, Robert E. Morrison 16th, Treston Fortson 17th. It's going to be Jay Stinson in 18th. Rounding out the field tonight in 19th was William McKellar. Boy, he had some bad luck early as well. Well, that's all we got for tonight. Again, we're not going to be here next week, but the NOMA Truck Series still does head to Vegas, and I believe Richard Hurst potentially might be broadcasting that one, depending on, I guess, the way things work out. So make sure you guys check in on his channel and look over there to see if it's over there next week. Either way, though, after that, we'll be back for the championship race in Chicagoland. Thank everybody for coming out one more time. I hope you did enjoy. Until then, have a good one.